What's up, guys? Matthew here, back at it again with some more board game reviews. Today, we're going to look at The Hare and the Tortoise by Tales in Games. I'm going to restart that. Today, we're going to look at a game called The Hare and the Tortoise by Tales in Games. Now, I'm certain that most of you know the famed tale of the Hare and the Tortoise. Basically, if you don't know, you live under a rock, you might want to check some real estate options. But two, if you want to know what the story is, I'll give you a brief synopsis. Basically, it's a tale of morals, and it teaches people that slow and steady can win the race. That has been proven multiple times to sometimes not be true. The story goes that we have two characters. We have the hare, and then we have the tortoise. Basically, the hare is all cocky, saying, I can beat anyone in a race. I'm the fastest. And the tortoise goes, well, I'll race you. And the hare just laughs and goes, ha, you're a tortoise. You're too slow. You can't win the race. You can't beat me because I am fast. I am superior. Hare power. Basically, as the race commences, the hare gets so far ahead of the tortoise that the hare thinks, well, you know what? I think I'm just going to take a nap by this tree because I'm pretty tired. So I'm going to just take a nap, wake up, and then cross the finish and reach first place. But the whole thing is when he takes his nap, he oversleeps, and the tortoise just surpasses him and wins the race. And so it kind of teaches, like, you can't be too cocky, all right, guys? You can't be too cocky, right? Yeah, you know? You want to be the best in the world? You gotta go to college, get a degree. Anyway, that's how the story goes. It's basically like a light children's moral story. And the people of Tales and Games made a Hare and Tortoise board game. Now, this isn't the first of the of fairy tale lot of games. In fact, I don't own them all. I mean, I plan on getting them, but basically, this is number 3. This is the 3rd addition to their fairy tales collection, where they're just basically taking old fairy tales and turning them into board games. Now, whether or not that translates, we'll find out. Essentially, what the Hare and the Tortoise is, it's a game where you're betting on animals in a race. It doesn't just feature the hare and the tortoise. It also features a wolf, a fox, and a sheep to enter the race. You as the player, you don't play any of these animals. In fact, it's all about placing a bet on an animal in the beginning and then trying to influence that animal to get ahead of the game and win the race. It's not just about letting the tortoise win. In fact, oftentimes when I'm playing, the tortoise never wins. But that's not the point. The point is that it's all about just finding the character that you want to bet on and bringing it to the finish line. I think the Hare and the Tortoise part is kind of just like to fit the fairy tale quota for them. But it really isn't about the tale at all. It's really just its own thing. The game comes with a set of tiles in which you can construct your racetrack. And you can construct it however you like. The only thing that really makes a difference in terms of how the game's going to be played is where the rivers are located. But yeah, find your start and find your end, and then there's your track. At the beginning of the game, each player will be given one card which represents one of the 5 characters available in the game. When you receive that card, that will be one of the characters you will be rooting for. You will also receive 7 cards in your hand, each with different character portraits on them. From that hand, you can choose to either double down on the character that you were dealt with if you have that card in your hand, or add another character to the bet roster so you can bet on 2 characters at once instead of betting double or nothing on one character. However you want to do it, it's totally up to you. But once you find the bet cards that you need, then the game begins. Essentially, the way this works is on your turn, you will start to place cards into the play area that represent other characters' portraits. And the goal is to try and get the character that you're rooting for to win the race or come up on top, and you can collect the most points based off of the pedestal numbers. If your chosen character gets in first place, you get 5 points. If it's double or nothing, you get double that, obviously. If your character gets in second place, you get 3 points. If your character gets in third place, you get 2 points. And if you have 2 different characters, you can accumulate points in different placements. On your turn, you're going to be playing character cards onto the play field to try and get the characters you want to move. Each character moves differently depending on the amount of cards played in the play area. So for example, if we look at the guide card, and we go down to where the fox is, and we'll notice right beside his icon, it shows 1 to 4. Basically, in terms of the fox will move at a 1-to-1 scale. So you put 1 fox card down, the fox will move 1 space on the racetrack. If you put 2 cards down, he moves 2 spaces, and he can move a maximum to up to 4. Another interesting character to look at is the hare, obviously, the star of the show. He moves 2 spaces no matter what cards are put on the table. However, if he's in first place and there are 4 hare cards on the table, then he will not move. And if we look at the tortoise will move even if there are no cards on the table. But if there are 4 tortoise cards, then he moves 2 spaces. So as you can see, although the guide card seems very confusing to look at first, it is all just about the amount of cards being played on the table and how the characters are going to move in the phase. When playing the cards on the table, you can play a maximum of 4 cards, but you can only play 1 animal at a time. So that means you can't just put down a sheep and then a fox. You have to choose 1 animal out of your hand, and you can choose to put down 1 card of that animal with a maximum of 4. If an animal reaches 4 of a kind on the play area, then the race phase begins. But if no animals reach a 4 of a kind, then players will continue putting cards into the pot until the pot reaches 8 cards. Once the race phase begins, then the characters will start to move on the board in relation to what cards were played on the table. And the way the characters will move is in the order from top to bottom on the guide card. So the hare goes first, followed by the tortoise, followed by the wolf, followed by the fox, and finally followed by the sheep. So this play continues until finally third place has been found and all the points have been scored. I mean, that's obvious. It's a fucking game. Like, one thing to take note is the wolf. The wolf is a regular character with its own move set. However, 3 cards in the entire deck are what is known as howl cards. They're wolf cards that feature a little symbol of a wolf howling. And what ends up happening if a player plays a howl card, then it will cancel out all other cards but wolf cards on the table, essentially only letting the wolf move on the turn. This also counts for the tortoise. Although the tortoise moves where there are no cards on the table, when a howl card is played, the tortoise will not move. It's kind of like the idea that the wolf is howling because he's like thirsty for blood, and so all the other characters on the racetrack are like, oh fuck, the fucking wolf's coming down, get out of here. An interesting strategy that people tend to put in place with the howl cards is that they'll play a howl card in order to burn cards from their hand, because players will still have to play cards even if that character is not moving. So if there are cards in your hands that you're like, I don't want this character to move, I'm not touching these cards in my hand, then the howl cards are a great source of a burn your cards round, a round to just get rid of the cards you hate. And that's basically the gist of it. It's a very quick game. It's very easy to learn. And don't let the guide card throw you off. It looks a little complex, but once you realize, oh, this is just the cards on the table, then boom, it's easy. This is a really fun game. I actually really enjoy it. I think that it's just so simple, and you can just play it over and over again and do a couple of rounds, without having to think about, oh, how long is this game going to take, and do we have time to do another round of it? I'd highly recommend this if you're looking to start a game collection or get something for your friends and family to enjoy. It's not too obscure that you're gonna have to find the right crowd to enjoy it. Pretty much anyone can enjoy this game. I highly recommend it. And with that, I think it's going to conclude another board game review. Thank you so much for watching. leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more board game reviews. This is becoming a weekly show. Besides the sketch that we do every month, this board game stuff is now becoming a weekly show. So if you want more board game stuff, you're gonna get it. Don't have to wait a month at a time cycle. All right. Okay, man. Just be cool, man. Be cool. All right. Thank you.